How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Bogdan Rosu with us, and he can help you with the 10 martial arts leadership principles that give leader the edge to join the top 0.01 without sacrificing their freedom. So both can tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend to entrepreneurs in order to sell the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Beautiful. Well, I actually have, if you don't mind me sharing, I love to say that leaders achieve freedom by breaking free of their chains. So, first one would be getting out of your comfort zone. This is very common for hyper leaders. They have a lot of yes people around them, people who are impressed with their minimum effort. So they never really tap into their full potential, their full power, their mastery. And also, when things are good, right, the obstacle to great are when things are going right. So somebody doing 6 figures, life is pretty good. There's not necessarily that fire and scale to 7 figures because that takes an up level in leadership in your ability to create systems that scale. And is getting out of the hustle and grind mindset. We're trained to believe that the harder you work, the more you trade your time for money, the better your will be. But that's actually the opposite of the truth. Elite leaders, they multiple companies leading 20, 30, 50, 100 companies sometimes. And was that possible? Because they've gotten out of the mindset of I trade my time for money. And they got into the mindset of using leverage, doing more with a huge martial arts principle. If you ever seen Bruce Lee's 1 inch, the ability to generate tremendous force from a small distance instead of, winding up the punch to hit somebody and knock them out. This is an idea of using leverage, using all of the leverage points in your body to create the biggest impact. So that's number two. Number three is getting out of the attracting of mediocre talent. Just because you like some of the people in your team, or maybe they're your friends. I had a client like that. His team was an absolute mess, but his team was mostly comprised of his friends. Deadlines were not being met. They were losing clients, big clients. So getting into the ability of really attracting people that love your vision and have a vision that is easy to share, easy to remember, and easy for the right people to rally behind. For example, Microsoft, back in the day, their big vision was a computer on every desk. And I would say they over delivered on that promise because now we have computers in the fridge, right? So having that sort of world changing, easy to understand vision makes it easy to attract top. Now, this comes into our following point. Away from the business, right? The biggest trap that business owners fall into is my business is my baby. Your business is not your baby. If you want to scale to 7, 8, 9 figures, the mindset to have is if I were forced to sell my business, what would I do differently? How would I lead differently? How would I systemize things differently? This doesn't mean you have to sell the business, but it means that once you achieve the ready to sell status, as the founder, you as the leader, get to work when you want to, not because you have to, right? That's how you create freedom in your business. The fifth is not thinking big enough. We talked a bit about having a world-changing vision. That's intimidating to a lot of people because uh, everyone can have a big vision. I say, oh, I want to change the world. Great. But the reason why most people never really truly engage, what is required is the confidence that you can actually make it happen. If you were to ask Steve Jobs, confident about changing, the world through technology, he wouldn't blink about it and we would immediately say, absolutely, yes. So when you have that big vision, it acts like it has a gravitational pull, meaning that regardless what you do, regardless how you move, it will pull you towards it. You don't need discipline anymore, but you need the confidence that you can actually get closer to that vision. Without the confidence, you're not even in the same universe with the vision. So getting in the habit of, yes, thinking big, but also thinking big about yourself of, yes, you know what? I can gain the skills to be a world-class leader, to become a top 0.01% leader. Fixing all of these aspects fixes the sixth point, which is stalled growth. I know the market changes, but your ability to move with the market will directly influence your ability to grow the business.
Yeah.
So these are my 6 points.
So, Bogdan, tell us a little bit why do you think that leadership is a key factor in order to grow a business? Why, when we start as an entrepreneurs, we most of us started by coincidence. We by by could be that you see we start to solve the problem for somebody else for ourselves. Then you start to solve for somebody else. You sell it, you make a little bit of money, and then there you go. You're in business. You're an entrepreneur. But nobody told us that we had to become a great leaders in order to span and grow a company and exit your company. So I'm definitely nobody taught us how to be leaders. So what is your point of view at this? Because people can be good entrepreneurs, but not good leaders. Leaders is a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. And some of them, they don't want to practice leadership. So they never
Mhm.
become great leaders. So how you see the relationship between leadership, entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, become a leader, and exit your company? So basically, how to become a leader and exit your company.
You were cutting out a lot, so let me see if I got the question. So, are you asking like why is it important to be a leader and why
Why
some business owners are...
entrepreneurs, how entrepreneurs can also be need to develop leadership skills
Mhm.
in order to scale and grow the
Right.
company.
Well, I don't think you can be a successful business owner without leadership. Your business might be doing well, but that's not necessarily your merit. And here's what I mean. Jose Mourinho, one of the most successful soccer football managers in the world, he said something that really stuck with me. He said, I wasn't very talented as a football player, but I knew I could be one of the best as a coach. What does that mean? If your business is doing well, but you're not a great leader, you have people leaving left and right, you cannot motivate them, you cannot inspire them. It's not your merit. You're probably in a good market that's booming right now, and your products or services are flying off the shelf. Great. But you're not a business owner. You're an employee in your own business because you haven't mastered leadership. And leadership is not just being exceptional with people, it's about systemizing and scaling in an elegant way, knowing when, right, when to pause, to build, to stabilize the business. So valuable to have that distinction. Just because it says owner of the business doesn't mean you're different. The energy is totally different. So ask yourself if you employee in your own business, just like my own dad was in, right? He was in out, overwhelmed, wanted to sell the equipment in the business, not even properly sell the business, couldn't operate without him. When he made the shift, I had a rough. When he finally made the shift to business owner, then the business could run without him. He could find making more money. Business was making more money when he wasn't there. Then having that level of clarity that, okay, like my dad, he was just a glorified employee. What does it take to become a real business owner? Can I run five more? Can I turn it a shift from it's my baby to it's a method that is supposed to give me freedom, fun, and finance, right? Just asking yourself that question will adjust your approach and it will make life more fun.
I've been there, and I know exactly what you described me, because I've been wearing two hats. I think all the entrepreneurs, when we started the business, we start to make some money. Yeah. We start to with this ego. I'm the big
Yeah.
boss. I'm the big guy. Everybody has to do what I say. And the more money,
Yeah.
in my first business, we managed to sell over 5 million. So in mine, when I saw myself with so much money, I started to thinking I'm a big deal, that I know everything and I'm the big boss and I'm the big entrepreneur. And then I'm telling everybody, you do this, you do that. And everybody had to be run by me. And I'm exhausted. After 2 years, I'm so tired. I'm sleeping, I'm waking up with the laptop in my lap, and I'm angry. And I'm
Yeah,
angry with myself, with my staff, with the clients, with everybody for no reason, you see.
of course.
And then somehow, because I didn't have any, so it was a survival. If I don't surrender that ego,
Yeah.
I want to do everything by myself. Yeah, I didn't trust anybody. I was this kind of person. I don't trust anybody, so I didn't want anybody to meet my landlords. I didn't want anybody to meet my clients. I'm thinking, how come I'm gonna employ someone if they open the door of the house and they take the computer with my clients? That I will never. As I was thinking, that will never happen in my company and everything. So. But there's something magical happened, yeah. When I let that go and I surrendered that ego, I started to employ people,
Yeah.
and they were better than me at everything.
Yeah, that's exceptional.
All
That's
of them.
exceptional.
I was so happy. I was telling everybody, not that everybody listened, because my family, everybody was so I was crazy to have my own business. But I was telling everybody, so you won't believe my employees, how much they selling, how easy they do it.
Yeah.
These people are amazing. What I found these people, and and because they were better than me, I was happy that they were better than me, and I give them more start this culture, this flow, to give them more freedom to
Hmm.
them. Yeah, again out of survival, because at one point I have 177 clients and several staff members, and everybody's coming to all the clients want to talk to me. All the employees want to talk
Right.
to me. I'm saying, what, these people gonna kill me when I sleep? So I told them, if you come, bring one, if you have a problem, just come and speak with me and bring two, three solutions. You pick the favorite, and we go for it.
Yes,
And
exactly.
somehow by accident, I move myself and I'm become a leader, to the point that one day I write to the office and they send me home. They told me, Harry, we don't need you. Go home, travel the world if you want. Please don't come here. The only problem in this business is you.
Yeah.
So, but
And
it was kind of both. It was kind of survival, everything. Now looking back, I even learned that this thing can be studied. This thing is something that you're expert in, and that it doesn't have to happen by accident. Is a process to it. Um, what advice do you have for those entrepreneurs that they are suffering, they're angry, they are stuck, they are working Monday to Sunday, just breaking even, making a little bit more, and they still attached to that ego, and then they don't want to let it go. They're making that day at the business. So, what message do you have for those entrepreneurs?
yeah, I love that you're elements that I also share in the book in the Yang section, right? The strategic solve a problem for them. They need to come with three solutions, three as well. Powerful stuff. And also, funny enough, there's a chapter in the book that's lead from your heart, not from your ego. But to your credit, all of us go through days of entrepreneurship, right? There's no, like, honestly speaking, that weaknesses, like a lot of us, we want to be seen. We want to be valued. We want to be the rock stars, right? So of course there's a lot of ego involved. I mean, when I started my personal development through martial arts program, a lot of years ago, that's all I wanted. I wanted the validation. I wanted people to see, oh my God, you're so great. You're so
It's a big deal.
awesome. You're so amazing. You're the big deal, right? You're the big boss. That's the opposite of greatness. That's the opposite of mastery. Like a master doesn't need your adulation. They do need your approval, right? So becoming a masterful and a great leader is that. It's exactly what you said, right? Like if I were to share one piece of advice, and that's exactly what you did, right? If you are the master in your business, if you're the big boss, you're screwed. You have to shift from becoming a master maker, right? Costamado and Mike Tyson never won a championship title in boxing, in nothing, right? Just like very similar to Jose Mourinho. He didn't talent to become a champion in boxing. That wasn't his strong suit. That wasn't his strength. Strength was taking kids who had no hope, but he saw something in that they couldn't see at the moment. They saw the champions before anybody. And he had the grace, the skill, the coaching, the mentorship to bring out that mastery. That's your job as a leader. Even if you hire somebody who is smart, your job is not to compete with them. Like, can you imagine Costamaro in his 70s trying to spar Mike Tyson? That's it's ridiculous. That's stupid. And yet that's exactly what most quote unquote leaders, bosses do, right? They argue with the person to do the job better than they do. No, that's not your job. Your job is to see better them, even if they're exceptional, if they're world class, if they're the best in the world. Your job as a leader is to see in them that is untapped. Help them bring that aspect of them to light. Help them become even, right? You do that, they will level up they will put steroids in your business without any of so become a master maker. That's my advice.
I agree 100%, Bogdan, and I have a story for you to share. I cousin called me once. He has a maintenance company in United Kingdom, a maintenance company in United Kingdom, and he called me once and told me, Harry, you won't believe. You should be very proud of me. I'm saying no to clients. I'm like, what? You saying no to clients? You say, look, I'm working so well, and my clients are giving me so much good reviews that we have a lot of reviews. And you see, if people want for me to refurbish property, I'm telling them no, or I'm telling them to wait because I'm busy with other projects. And look, I'm doing this job so amazing with my team. You know, I'm hands on with my team there doing this job. So are you proud of me? And I'm telling him, well, I think that the number one, you never say
This is
no to
going.
clients. That's the most idiotic thing that I ever heard. Saying no to clients. And second, but then he go and he works along with his team, the more he's devaluing his business, he won't be able
Hmm,
to sell it
of course.
because has with him. I'm telling him, the more you go and you work along your team and you're doing because you're working hand to hand with them and you're doing this business. If you're gonna sell it, you know how much your business worth, and he's telling me how much. I said zero, zero. That business worth
Yep,
zero because cannot be done operated without you. So
exactly.
I think that maybe he was not expecting these and he's trying to, okay, goodbye. We talk later, blah blah. I'm to me. Uh so like people become good employees in their own business, but they still don't
Yeah.
realize that regardless they are the boss, they are
Which,
employee, what they have is a, and for some people work, right? But
yeah,
it's a job,
that's
it's not a business. Or what's your view on this?
it's like that's okay, if that's what you have. If like rolling up your sleeves and being rubbing elbow team, that's what's make you happy.
Yeah, but
You're
what happened when you
enjoying it, right?
retire? But then what happened when you tired? What happened when you fall? What happened when
Well,
somebody when your loved one got sick, and now you cannot be with
hopefully
your baby because you have to be there, right?
hopefully, your cousin has insurance and he's covered retirement and for like health insurance and stuff. But what I'm
Or he
saying is
get
that
old, like your dad,
hopefully, right?
for example, your dad got old, right, and couldn't do the business anymore, right?
No, he properly successfully
Oh,
sold the business
oh, okay,
because of
okay.
the
Yes.
conversation we had, right? But what I'm saying is not everybody needs to be or should be a leader, right? Mike Tyson is not a great he cannot do what Customado did. And Customado cannot do what Mike Tyson did. Having a level of self-awareness of knowing specifically what you want and also being honest with, hey, you know what? I'm just not into leadership. I'm just not into growing a big business. But at least you're honest with yourself. I think that's also valuable. But if they're here, right? They probably want to elevate things to as much as possible and grow as much as possible. And yes, I agree. That's what you want to be the best leader you can be. Absolutely. Move yourself from the business as much as you can because you're holding back everything. You're the business.
Yeah. So, what are your when you discover, right, that in in business before selling it successfully, a process has to be taking place where procedures, SOPs, system has to be in place,
Hmm.
and something has to change.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't be possible to exit business, and how those employees that they're used to the culture in the business, they need to fit in the culture, because the business has to have their own life separate with you. I agree with you that people say, no, I'm my business. No, you know your business. You have the separate life completely different than yours. You're mixing things up. So how was the process of that business that was the baby of your dad, and he working there, and separate the process? How was this process for your dad? That was also what was the process for the employees, and how you do this process?
My
Is this actually possible in every company out there? Because
well,
at some point that will happen, that business owners want to exit, and they want to, and they figure out that they have a problem, that when somebody come to evaluate the business and look how much profit I make it, and then they go to the business and this business was zero, and then the entrepreneur, the CEO, is shocked and said, well, how, what do you mean zero? Look how much profit I'm making every year. Say, well, it was zero because it's all depend on you. So you're taking all the decisions. So without you, the thing doesn't operate. So tell us how was how was that transition, and the biggest challenge that you face?
my isn't the best example because he did something very, very smart with his team. To give you context, they were producing concrete for buildings and concrete tubes for like sewage systems, wells, and stuff like that, right? The genius thing that my dad did, and something I kind of share, like the principle behind it, sure, and is that he gave his employees like minimum wage, but they were being paid per production, right? So the more these concrete that they made, the more that they were getting paid. They were the highest paid employees in like in manufacturing
Wow.
in the area. Everybody wanted
Wow.
to work with my dad, right? So because the team like if they had like somebody who didn't produce, right? They productive, the team immediately got rid of them because it was costing everyone. And when somebody left, the team immediately found somebody new that they kind of, right, that they were, a good employee. So transition easy for my dad. What he was struggling with, and it was like all of the operations and stuff like that. So when he finally hired like an assistant to take over of the rest of the operational tasks, that's when the business became sellable, right? Now, what is small, any other businesses, and like the principle behind that is to kind of design the team. It were a basketball team working together championship. So let's say you have a Q, whatever, four goal, and you share a slice of the profit with the whole team? Can they all and kind of contribute? Can you your employee shares of the business so they're actually very much business? So you want to kind of inspire that ownership mentality in your team so self-sufficient. Now regarding SOPs, when you start out, let's say, or you have some sort of SOPs, some sort of like, here's how I do X task, I record. on the laptop where I record myself doing it and explaining it. You just need the basics. Beyond that, your team should be refining and optimizing the keys, coming up with better and better and better ideas. Systems run smoothly because they're the ones doing it every day. They're the ones using the systems. Something that my dad used to do as well. When somebody came into with a that would, improve flow and boost profits, my dad would immediately give that person a bonus in front of, right? That's what you want to do. Your team finds a better way of reward that person publicly, immediately, right? They the way to serve clients better, reward that person, and you inspire this culture of oil up and refine the machine as much as possible. You delegate this aspect of the business because if you're serving the systems, what freedom you have? Your team might be running well, but background hating your life and wanting to throw away your laptop, like you mentioned. So, yeah, that's how you create a sellable.
So, what are the biggest challenge that you have find in companies that they are moving to the process of to become a business, that they are a business in a certain way, and now they want to exit, and procedures, new process to be in place. What is
Mhm.
the biggest challenge that you have seen, and how you can overcome that challenge?
It's the main leader. It's always the business owner. It's always it, it it's like, the snakes follows the head. But above that, the head, let's say the snake goes longer than the CEO, is that the leader doesn't know how to articulate it with that, right? They don't know how to articulate a vision statement that is exciting, easy to understand, and have that as start. I've seen this with seven, eight, nine-figure business owners. Like you ask them, what's why are you doing this? And they start going on this long rant, and you just can't wait for them to, right? Your vision statement should be like five, six, 7 words. That's it. Easy to understand, easy to remember. Like SpaceX, for example, right? Their vision statement necessarily even stated somewhere, but everybody knows what they stand for. It's not about building rockets. It's boring, right? It's about building an interplanetary species. They attract genius level talent. And the idea is the following. It's not a SOPs, the systems, they're not the problem. Those are by humans for the time being. They're going to be created by AI in next month, let's say, right? But the humans are not looking up at the big vision, up at you because you're the big boss. You're always going to need to hold them back. But if they're looking up at that big vision of we're achieving this world-changing thing, it's so fun, that's so meaningful to me, they will come up with ways, faster ways of achieving that vision. I'll give an example. I was working with a client who has a tech business that services elderly people and helps them with their challenges with technology. Like for example, grandmother wants to FaceTime their or she would call my client's business to get support and why the damn phone doesn't work, right? So that's with soul because it was his grandmother. But the way he was phrasing it in his job offers, in his marketing, hadn't the soul of the company. And I said, look, you're not solving tech challenges. You're curing loneliness and isolation. That's why these people are using your services. It's not because they're angry with their phones or their laptop. It's because they're lonely and they just want to use tech to connect with their loved ones. When I said that, they were like, it is blown. And it was like, oh my God, we're not a tech company, a health and wellness company as well. And he started thinking about ways of communicating this of the business. Now, why is this meaningful? To somebody who raised by their grandmother, their grandfather, right? Is like, oh, tech support for elderly people. Okay, whatever. But a company that's we solve loneliness, like we make like they or they find meaning, something like that. This is to come up with a short version. But for somebody like that, who they see the job offer of loneliness and isolation for your elderly loved ones, it's gonna be like, oh my God, thank you so much, Grandma, for raising me. I want to step to this. I want to make this happen. I want this all over the world. I love my grandmother. That's how you attract people who will go above for your business because they believe not just in you, they believe in what you say.
So, Bogdan, if someone is in love with this conversation and want to find out more, uh, like more about you, how people can find you, how this process works.
I would love for get my book. It's going to be absolutely free. I finished the first draft, but 2 chapters of the book can already be downloaded and read. You can use them to start into becoming a top 0.01% leader. And in a few, the book will be finished. It's my life's work, right? The book has a section, right, from the yin and yang of martial arts, yin section, where we transform the mind, the body, and the soul. And then in the yang section, we go into the secret strategies of the top leaders in the world. So it's a full book. Hopefully, there will be a link in the description. And if you'd like to connect, and have a quick chat, would be LinkedIn.
That's brilliant. And with that note, see you guys in our next episode of Unstoppable, how great entrepreneurs like Bogdan break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.